And we are live. What up, though, people? We just saw the Detroit Pistons take out the OKC Thunder to get back into the win column. And I see you guys here in the chat, man. Thank you guys for being here. If you can, go ahead and smash that like button if you didn't get the opportunity to yet. And I sent off, let me get this link off to our guy, Platte, as well, so we can get him in here. I think I did send it off to him. But hey, you know what? It feels good to get back into the win column. I don't care what anybody says about who played, who didn't play, all of that jazz. I think it's good to see the team go out there and look like themselves again. You know, against the Spurs, no matter what happened, there were certain elements of that game where they didn't quite look like themselves. So shout out to the Pistons, man, for getting back to the win column. And you know what? Behind their stars, too. You know, Jalen Duran, Cade Cunningham, you want to see Cade go out there and kind of look right, look like himself on offense. So I like the efficiency that we saw from both of those guys. And Cade Cunningham, another game with 3 blocks and 2 steals. Like, this guy is doing it all on the court on both sides, you know. So if he have like a off shooter night, he's still going out there and giving you and all the effort that he can control, man. And that's what I love about this team. It's not many nights like the night we saw against the Spurs or any other those like few uncharacteristic nights we've seen. It's been very, very few. It's like they don't even really lose back-to-back games that much either. So, you know, I'm happy about what we saw tonight because I've seen some people already early on who've talked about who wasn't there for OKC, even though we've seen the OKC Thunder go out there and bludgeon teams without SGA and some of those other guys. Just like we've seen the Detroit Pistons go out there and win games without Cade and without Duran. So we don't apologize for no wins because if they would have lost this one, we already know what we would have been doing. Back-to-back losses, it would have been ugly. So shout out, man. And I see some of you guys in the chat too, man. Let me take a little bit of time to say what up, though. I see you, VX Shade, in the chat. It says W. Hey, I see you. We live finally. Yes, we are, brother. Randall Smalls, I see you in the chat, man. I can't wait for Friday either. Y'all know I usually don't cover the Friday games. We're, you know, Sabbath observation and family stuff, but I am going to come out to the game, not in work capacity, but to make sure I see some of the people that are going to be coming to the game from our chat family, man. Freddie Felt's going to be here. Gumby from the chat is going to be here. And a couple of our guys on the studio are going to be here too, including Braylon Edwards, man. We might get Sweet Potato Cam in here. So we want to see you guys. If you see me in here, if you see any of us here, stop us and say what up so we can say what up, though, to you guys, man. Straight up. And we already got a super chat in here. Shout out to I ain't say that. $5 super chat. He said, this is a deep OKC team. Role players that will be starters on other teams. Great win. Great way to impose their will in the paint. Cade to MVP. Those chats tonight, man, epic. Epic. In the environment in LCA, I continue to give a lot of love back to the fans because the Pistons have put us through some things for the last, 15 years. They have put us through some things, man. So, you know, to be able to see the fans come out here and they're putting their full weight behind this team, and they've been doing that all season. So they made the playoffs last year. They didn't wait for them to prove something again this year. The people showed up just like we said it would, man. You win, fans are going to be there. But I'm seeing a couple other people I need to shout out before we get into this box score and everything. Eric Moy, what up, though, brother, man? Mission Nuga, I see you. He says OKC just won their last couple games with that same squad. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about, man. Trust me. Oh, Snap Jan, what up, though? She says, good to see you, Kool-Aid. Man, good to see you guys in here in the chat. We see here. Randall Smalls, awesome game. My parlay hit $519. $519? Randall, you're going to have to send that into the show. Give me a screenshot of the slip so we can talk about that tomorrow, man. The Detroit Pistons winning on the court and helping the fans win off the court. Usually after these games, all you hear is people crying about their parlays. But shout out to Randall Smalls. The Detroit Pistons were able to help you hit that parlay, man. Let me see here. Hey, Alex Spoon says, shout out Kool-Aid for a killer post game. Thank you so much. Hey, look, bro, we're just getting started. It's not going to be the longest one tonight, but still got to come and talk to the people, man, straight up. Let me see here. Do what we're doing. Pistons watch party. We got some watch parties coming up here. So generally the road games, we do watch parties. The home games, we are in arena, encouraging people to get down here, see us, and say what up, though. And in the future, I'm hoping, especially before playoffs, we can do a couple of watch parties from right here in the arena. You know, last year, post games were done from our studio or from our home. This year, they're letting us do it from here. And so that's progress, man. And part of that, a large part of that is because of you guys. Seriously, they're not letting people just come in here and talk and just do stuff just to do stuff. No, it's because of, honestly, the audience we've been able to grow and how much you guys and your voice matters to the overall business community. So that's why I continue to tell y'all, thank y'all so much. It's appreciated. And smash that like button, man, so we can get this into the algorithm of Knicks fans. Because y'all know that Knicks fans think about us after each and every game they play and after each and every game we play. So y'all already know they know that we went out there, handled business tonight and whatnot. So let me see if there's anybody else here. Man, shout out, dog. I'm seeing so many people in the chat. I see you. Charles, man, just sent in the $2 super chat. He said, missed you on Bray's show. Let me see here. Kool-Aid, best post game today, in my opinion. Shout out, Miss Shanuga. Shout out, man. And you know what? For me, I wanted to be able to just kind of jump right into the overall feel of this thing. We just got off the press conference. I always like to brief you guys on the things said there. JB Bickerstaff still don't got a voice. Still doesn't have a voice, man. Shout out to him for, I don't know how he's still on the sideline yelling and barking orders and commanding his team, but he's doing the darn thing. And a large part of that has to do with the coaching staff that he's put together. It's a really, really, really solid coaching staff. Hey, we got somebody over there trying to shoot. Let's see if he makes this. Nope, didn't make it, man. We had to get the try. We had to get the attempt. And y'all get to see the court real quick. Man. But yeah, this one was one in which it felt like this was like, okay, back to business as usual. Like they felt as if that last Spurs game, and they said it after that game, like, bro, we can't wait to play them again. And I can't wait for that Spurs game. But all of us were saying, yo, you can't look past OKC. I don't think they were. I think that they realized some things in that Spurs game that they got right. And that was what I think a lot of the discourse between Platte and I stemmed around before too. And the discourse on Braylon's show with me, Shep, and Bray, is that this team figured out some things. And even though they got themselves in a hole early, and it's difficult because Wemby and San Antonio Spurs are serious, they did find some things out. They figured some things out. And towards the end of the game, they were kicking themselves because they felt like they just ran out of time. The best way to be able to gauge those types of things is look at the next few games from your squad. I told y'all that in the beginning of the season, one of the things I'm looking for from the Pistons, and I don't care who they're playing, they can lose to a good team or a bad team. They can beat a good team or a bad team. This happens. Anybody can have something happen. When we look at them over the course of the season, we see this is a good team. So we don't overreact to a loss. But what I wanted to see was who were they when they got into some type of adversity. When they lose a game, 2 games, 3 games, when they get popped on national TV by another team that is getting just as much fanfare, or another player that's in that MVP conversation. I want to see what that team was. How are you practicing? How are you coming back? Are you getting too up? Are you getting too low after these things? And that's going to be one of the questions I asked them, is about how are they finding the ways best to manage that, manage the highs and manage the lows. Because you think about how much of a high we were all on, including seeing the Pistons to some degrees after winning that game against the Knicks. And you look at the end of the game, they didn't really go and just start celebrating and high-fiving. They kind of just did their normal look, good game, said what up though to some Knicks players, and then they went to the locker room. And I thought that was appropriate for the Detroit Pistons. Don't get too high about beating the Knicks. This is what you expect to do, especially after you beat them 2 times in a row, and you were talking all big, all offseason, that the issue was there. Y'all really felt like y'all should have won that series. So it's like, I like the fact that they come in and we can go crazy. Y'all saw us on the stream going crazy, man. When Kool-Aid take the hat off and throw it, it's serious. And so we was doing that on them streams. But, when you see them against the San Antonio Spurs, I like the fact that I saw them mad at themselves. I like the fact that they were coming in saying, we got too frustrated. We're going to have to lead the refs wrong. We're going to have to control a lot more of our own identity. So when you see them come out in this game and they don't, not only do they not drop it, but you see them go out there and they take the punches early on, because OKC got a squad with or without Shea and some of those guys. And you see them weather it, and then you see them start to take control. There was a point in the game where, even though it got a little weird at the end of it, nobody in here thought that they were going to lose. Nobody. When they took control of the game, you could tell this was the Pistons' game to lose, and they were doing things much more quick, much more succinct than they had against the San Antonio Spurs, which I really think they just had to get used to the speed, the athleticism, the length. And honestly, when you talk about if the Pistons are a team that does 100%, goes all out, it seemed like the Spurs were on some like higher octane in that game, and they were going like 105% in that game. Having Asar play only 4 minutes against the Spurs hurts. Having Asar in this game a lot more in both the first and the second half, because he played 4 minutes in that second half against the Spurs, that's going to hurt you. The Pistons looked much better in that first half against the Spurs, and Asar was 4 or 6 from the floor in that game and was able to get into the chest of Asar. Now, I know there's some things that you want him to improve upon, but when Asar's not in that game, this defense looks even worse. So tonight, you get him in there, and OKC got some guys that got a little bit of wiggle, a little bit of dribble and such. We see Jared McCain go out there, and sometimes he's having some good games. was a low score into that fourth quarter, and then started popping off a little bit. Lou Dort was out there trying his best to guard Cade Cunningham, and I'm telling y'all, it seemed like that man is starting to really, really, really enjoy taking on the challenges of trying to break down those defenses, man. But back to effectively the aspect of what this game meant to me. It meant this team was going to go out there, and did they look the way they were supposed to? Were they playing defense the way they were supposed to? Did we see Asar Thompson running up and taking the ball away from people and running down the court? Did we see Jalen Duren under control in the paint? Did we see the Pistons get back to being in the paint? Did we see them drop those turnover numbers a little bit? Now, turnover numbers floated up there a little bit, and it was as he was pressing a little bit early on. And there was a couple plays that it just seems like he has this a couple times a game, which it can't be there in the playoffs, but just errant passes. Just kind of oh, my guy's going to be there. And it's like, no, you're playing against a team that got some defenders that are beyond opportunistic. When you play your Boston Celtics, your San Antonio Spurs, when you play your OKC Thunder, they got guys that are waiting for anything that's not perfect and to pick it off and go down the court. That's how they lunch too. Everybody, and that's why people are starting to call the Pistons OKC East. For me personally, I'm like, wait a second, and the Pistons are built in the image of former Pistons teams. But realistically, they ain't seen the Pistons in 15 years be worth a daggone anything. So then when they actually see them starting to play a certain way, shout out to OKC Thunder, who have been able to win in this era in the ways that we've seen sometimes the Pistons win things from a defensive standpoint. Offensively, Shea is doing whatever Shea wants to do. And people have the allegations out there about ethical hoops versus not. We know the bad boy Pistons and the going to work Pistons were ethical hoopers on offense. But defensively, that's who OKC is playing like. And the Pistons are effectively stepping into that light. And so I get why the national media and a lot of fans who are just tuning in would say, hey, you know what? That's like an OK East type of team. But they're saying that because why? You got the superstar in Cade Cunningham who's leading things from the point guard position. And you got a defense that's going to consistently be top 2 in the league. It's always going to be OKC, and it's going to be the Detroit Pistons in that category because nobody is playing it like them. Now, San Antonio Spurs and Boston Celtics are the other two teams that I believe are going to be, when it's all said and done at the end of the season, those are going to be probably your top 4 defensive rated teams in the league, man. And so I appreciate the actions and the things that they were doing tonight as well. Just one more thing before we get into the box score. This is what they have to take advantage of. When you do not have your shooters in the corner, if Ron Holland or Asar Thompson in those corners, of course there's going to be a couple threes a game that they have to take. But if you're sitting here saying, well, we know they can't shoot, but they got to learn to shoot, they're not doing that right now. Now, bro, they've had Fred Vincent here since before they hired J.B. Bickerstaff. And realistically, I see better forms out of them. And in practices, they're knocking it down. So what's going on right now with Asar Thompson and Ron Holland is I think the conversion that it takes to go from practice to the game. This isn't like practicing a new move that you can just go out there and pop on. When it's shooting, there's so much instinct that you got to get buried into your head, like unburied and then reburied into your head so that you can go out there and it's like clockwork. Your best shooters, they don't even got to see the rim. You can cut the lights off and you'll notice the mechanics are there. And when they step into a gym, there is no aspect of second guessing their shooting. Even Cade Cunningham, he's not second guessing his shot. And so with an Asar Thompson, you can see there's moments out there when he's second guessing. So what are the Pistons doing? A night after whatever little riffraff or tiff happened between Asar Thompson and J.B. Bickerstaff, well, you see them out here again, giving him his minutes, all the stuff that he's doing across the court from blocks to steals, pressing up on the defense, getting those just takeaway steals. But I love what they were doing on offense. I absolutely love what they were doing. Seeing Ron Holland and Asar Thompson cutting off the backdoor screens as soon as they would give the ball to the center, whether it be Paul Reed or Jalen Duren, I loved it. And then you know what else I loved? Sometimes they would give it to Jalen Duren. It's not there. He would pass it back out up top. Then all of a sudden, I see Asar Thompson is the one flashing to the middle. He got the ball one time, went down the lane, and I thought he was about to toss it to the right. And he did this little kind of underhand pass. So I think it was Duren in the lane, and it was sick. It's like getting them moving, getting them like with actions and rubs and picks and dribble handoffs and taking advantage of the fact that there's not too many people who are going to be able to stay in front of an Asar Thompson who's running downhill, a Ron Holland who's running downhill. And they're playing with a bunch of good passers. That's one team. This one thing this team does really good. They can pass, especially the interior passing. Their passing around the perimeter has to improve. I'm going to be honest with you. It has to improve. It's not necessarily as zippy enough, quick enough, And sometimes it just feels like, oh no, he's gonna get this pass picked off. So but overall, man, I liked what they did from an offensive set standpoint tonight to be able to generate offense against an aggressive defense. That's the play. That's like the adjustments that you want to see playmaking wise from your coaching staff, and that your players can actually adjust to it with just a day in between. What that tells you is it wasn't too much learning they had to do. It was just adjustments and getting back to the principles. This is a team that's done this all year. So it's like to see them go out there and get right back to it. It's like, okay, yep, they own it. Obviously, they got another big game against Cleveland this Friday. It's to be determined if what's happening with James Harden. Obviously, he's going to play through the hand fracture this season. We just don't know if that starts in Detroit. So that's going to be an interesting thing, that all of these people are effectively, these other teams are dealing with some stuff. Right now, it seems like our squad, the most we have to deal with is, can we keep our guys from getting suspended? And I think that we're gonna be able to do that pretty well. But let me go over these team stats before we do that. Let me go and just look in the chat, man. See if what's in here, man, and give you guys another look at the court. It's so dope, man, coming in here, and it's cool to see the different courts that they got going on. Because the other night they had like the what courts they have? I think they're City Connect jerseys, and the court was like a different court. Tonight they got this one. It's like it's fire to see some of the things that they're able to go out there and do with this arena. And LCA was rocking again, man. But let me see here. Mr. Nugi says, no pressure, Kool-Aid. The tribe is restless, expecting the best post game ever. I love that stuff, yo. Man, the people were in here supporting well before. I'm gonna try and set these streams up early with about 5 minutes left to go. You will see the time will be about 10:45. That's about the time we get out of the press conferences. But I'm going to try and set the stream so at least you guys have the chat to be able to come in here and get that thing jumping before we are able to get in here and go live. And in the future, I'm going to see what we can do, because I like to be able to get into that press conference and be able to tell you guys some of the things that JB and whichever player we got, whatever they had to say. And shout out Randall. He says, awesome coverage, Kool-Aid, as always. I appreciate you, but I appreciate, one, I pray over everything I do. I'll be honest with you guys on that. That's where the confidence comes from, is between that and you guys. 100%. I'm riding a wave of confidence from y'all. Beyond that, man, I'm telling you, it's this network. It's the Pistons PR, and it's the different support I've gotten from a lot of different people in this industry. So just trying to come out here and do my part. And another person who makes his thing a joy for me, this right here. We're going to get Chris Platte's thoughts on the game before we actually go ahead and get through the box score, man. Platte, this was a game in which, the other night, I realized, I was like, you know what? I think you and I are actually saying the same thing. I wasn't upset at the loss, but it was like, you want to see them get back to doing the things that we were used to seeing them do, that contributed to the wins as a part of their identity. And I thought tonight they did that. This was one of those nights where you saw the hustle there. You saw Ron Holland going up and just taking the ball from people. You saw, I saw Thompson just taking the ball from people. You saw Ron Holland getting busy and getting down into the lane and causing his normal havoc. You looked across the bench and everybody got like 6 to 9 points. Shout out, nice, right? And then you look at your starters, and who is it? It's your stars with the big 29-point double-doubles, 15 rebounds for Duren, 13 assists for Cade, and still two-way Cade. Offense, the defense.
Absolutely.
This man needs to make an all-defensive team this year. I know that Asar Thompson and Isaiah Stewart get a lot, deservingly so, a lot of attention, a lot of praise for what they do defensively. But Cade Cunningham, man, he just went on another streak, 10 rebounds and 2 blocks, like the longest since you got to go back to the 1970s. When you want to talk about two-way ability, that's Cade Cunningham. 10 assists and 2 blocks in a streak of games. And then you got to go back. He's had 3 blocks and 2 steals, I believe, for the last 3 games. That man is putting in that work on defense, and he's erasing people's fast break attempts. But Platte, let me read these couple of super chats, and then I'll need your thoughts on this game, because you were active in the Woodward gang chat, bro. But Mr. Nuga 199 said Kool-Aid always keeping it real. I appreciate you. He said K9 had to rewatch the game before jumping on.
No, when I tell you my phone was on silent, my phone was on silent. I wasn't looking at it, nothing, and just totally all of a sudden I got the link 10 minutes ago. I was like, oh shit, all right, time to get next.
No, I got you, bro. And then
so I appreciate you.
Randall Smalls, $5 super chat said Kool-Aid will tell KG I'm sorry. I will too. I am. What did he say? 2 NM, but I didn't know he was double dipping this morning. You know what? Hey, we'll definitely say what up though to KG and Randall Smalls. Yeah. Thank you for support, man, and everybody here. You know, the super chats coming in is definitely a much better feel tonight after a dub. But shout out though, man. What up though to Chris? I see the chat is already saying what up though to our guy.
Shout out Platte. Xavier D.
Talk to us, man.
Shout out Dent. Listen, this was a great game, and to go back to the start, you saw what you saw against San Antonio, right? This was another like lackluster start for the Pistons. Things that we saw at the beginning of the year that you and I said we want to see them clean up, and they were able to pull out some wins that way. But we said you can't really do it against talented teams. Well, here they are, fast forward months later, doing it against the best teams in the league and still performing. And what did I say, Kool-Aid, on the last stream? I said that OKC was still going to find a way to make this competitive because, one, they are a deep and talented team. Two, they are very, very well coached. So I knew this game was going to be more competitive than we thought, but still not the start you wanted to see from the Pistons. But bottom line, you talked about the depth in this game was absolutely great. Asar's defensive intensity was on another level, and just offensive aggression. I can't remember a game where I seen him clap 4 or 5 times, like, give me the damn ball. I haven't seen that from Asar. So to see him do that was great. And then lastly, the thing I'll say to kind of wrap up my takeaway on this game was that this game was the first game, believe it or not, that what I saw was a 1-2 championship punch from Cade and Duren. They've had great games together, but this team,
this was stanky tonight. I liked it.
This showed me that, you know, because we always talked about, oh, is Cade, you know, years ago it was, is Cade like a really good number 2, or is he the 1, or is Duren really a 2, or is he more like a 3, and blah 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 on a championship team. What they did tonight proved to me that no, Cade and Duren as your 2 best players can win you a championship at some point. It just depends on the supporting cast around them. And tonight, the supporting cast was absolutely excellent. So this to me was just an all-around awesome win. Again, Cade, I'm glad you brought up the stocks. 6 stocks for Cade Cunningham. He definitely needs all defense recognition. I feel like he's going to get snubbed just because they're not going to give it to more than 2 Pistons. But ultimately, man, like he's got to deserve that. He's got to deserve that love because what he's doing in terms of this game, he did what he needed to do. He was the best player on the floor by far. He knew that, and he took advantage of that. And then shout out to Jalen Duren saying, all right, I'm going to be the second best player on the floor tonight. And he did that. So it was just, like I said, this was the first time I really saw Kool-Aid like, okay, maybe if it's not this year, but at some point, Cade Cunningham and Jalen Duren are enough of a 1-2 punch with the right supporting cast to bring you a championship.
Oh, 100%, bro. 100%. And you know what? I like the fact that Jalen Duren is just consistent. It's like, what suspension? You know what I mean? Like, what? It just came back and was like, I'm just hooping. 3 straight games where he has at least 20 plus, 25 and at least 10, I believe, or 20-10. And for me, it's the efficiency for Jalen Duren. Like, he's not just catching lobs anymore. And JB Bickerstaff talked about that too tonight in his press conference, post-game press conference, that, you know, and he used this word that I see Xavier using, dominant. He says that, wait, who was it? Somebody, let me find this again. Yep, it was Xavier. He says Duren dominates and he's only 22 effing years old. And that's the word that JB Bickerstaff used. And he said the things that we were talking about. You remember in the beginning of the year, we talked about what do we want to see from Duren? And it's get some pet moves, have some patience. And remember, we were looking at it. The first game of the season, he was a little bit rushed. By that second game, we were talking about, whoa, look at the patience that he's exhibiting. Yo, he did a couple post moves where he actually took his time. Now you see him operating in the paint as if, oh, yeah, this is mine. He'll get the ball and wait and look. Even if a double team will come, if he thinks he can beat that mug, you'll see him fade to the left and then spin inside real quick. You know, and so that's what I really, 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 really like about Jalen Duren. When you talk about the dominance, I like the fact that the confidence is coming from the fact that, one, he knows he's bigger than everybody else. And he has now put that on wax. Like, you know what? I realized I was taller, just go back right back with the ball and do this and do that. So when you hear him speak to that level, it's awesome to know that it's just these little things that he needed because he has all of the other like God-given abilities and measurables in athleticism that you would need in a player like that. And so it was like he just needed to understand, bro, you're good. Beyond that, put in the work with the pet moves. And what have I seen him in practice do? I've seen him in practice practicing the things that we now see him out here having the green light to do. And in the past, he didn't really have that green light. There were things that they would every now and then he would wind up with the ball and it would be his opportunity. But now this year, you see him getting actual paint touches. You see him actually getting opportunities to go in there. And it's like, look, this is your bucket, or we're not getting a bucket as a team. Because where's our offensive rebounder at now? So it's like that to me is cool that they are. When you talk about a number two, that's when you start to me becoming a number two. When they know when the ball's in his hands, we're scoring. Something good is going to come about this. And that to me is what I like. And it's not scoring in a standpoint of, well, I'm just going to go up there and hope I get fouled because I'm bigger than everybody. No, he's going out there as a skilled big man, and he's doing his thing. I mean, against Wemby, he only missed 3 shots. I thought he was
insane.
I thought Jalen Duren was the best player in that game. I like what Vassell did, but I think he was playing. Their whole team, their guards had the Pistons discombobulated, but overall, I thought Duren was that deal in that game.
Absolutely. Yeah, this stretch from Duren has been phenomenal, man. Like, and I don't know if you want to just transition, segue into the box scores off of that, but yeah, Duren's last few games, man, like, wow. Like, to think about where he was the start of the season and to think of what we thought of him to now where he's at is just tremendous growth. And then you remind yourself that this guy is only 22. He is still in his rookie contract. This is just a unbelievable.
Change soon, but
yeah. And hey, Kool-Aid, this isn't one of those players that's balling out on a contract year, and you're just never gonna see that shit again. Like, this is real with Duren. This is real with Duren. This is not just no contract year. I'm sure that helps. I'm sure he's got about probably what is it like 200 million reasons why he's playing the way he's playing, but I think that he'll. This is not something that he's just taking advantage of the contract.
But they made him prove it, and I get it. People say, well, he's about to get paid. It's like, well, before the season started, how many of us thought he was supposed to get what he's about to get? Now he's about to get more than a lot of us thought he was going to get. When we first heard $30 million, we was all like, Duren, we believe in you, buddy, but you got to get there first, right? Yeah. Now it's like, oh my God, we should have gave him $30 million.
Yeah, like, we should have gave him 30. Yeah, we should have gave him 30 and just not questioned it.
And I mean, when you think Speedy Claxton got 25 mil, when you think about it from that way, it's just like, I get it now. So it's like, yeah, and during what I love about our superstars is that they became all-stars on their rookie contracts. Cade became an all-star, first-time all-star last year before the money kicked in. Jalen Duren became all-star this year before the money kicked in. To get 2 of those players all-stars in a rookie year, and not just all-stars. These guys don't look like the Tyler Hero type of all-star. They don't look like
they're going to be decorated.
We got De'Aaron Fox in the all-star game this year. That's not what these types are. And I told y'all that last year. I told y'all coming out of that all-star game last year, Cade and Hero are not the same. There's a difference between those 2 guys. And Jalen Duren is now separating himself as well. He went into that all-star game and did exactly what he does to every team every night. And Xavier D said it best. JB Bickerstaff said it best. He dominates. Shout out to him, man. Like, if there's a player of the game or a player of the week or even maybe a player of the month, I'm telling you, I got to go with Jalen Duren. That guy has been absolutely an animal. And when you talk about how much more this must help Cade Cunningham to have him as your pick-and-roll partner, that's dope. And I'm going to read off a couple more of these chats, and we'll definitely get into that box score. Mr. Nugas, Stephen A., he ain't got itch on Kool-Aid. I appreciate that, man. And there was another one that I saw there. Xavier D said, these boys are elite at basketball talk. Shout out to them. We are lucky to have them. I'm going to continue to say it. We're lucky to have y'all. And I like this comparison, man. I like this. He says, Amari Stoudemire 2.0 is becoming reality for Jalen Duren. And I think that Jalen Duren, I think that's a good comparison. I like it a lot.
I love it a lot too. I love it a lot too, man. Amari was such a skilled player, and I mean, not only
Very
was he
skilled.
the raw, overpowering athlete, but the skill that he had too. I love that. I love that comp for Duren. And again, if that's what Duren is, you're very,
Yeah,
very happy with the product you got.
exactly. Exactly. You know what? I want to get to the box score, but the people are supporting dog in a big way.
Shout
Shout
out.
out. Mr. Newgold, another super chat, 49 says, this is a team with a chip on their shoulders. The biggest one is Bickerstaff, in my opinion. What do you think? You think about JB Bickerstaff coming from the Cleveland Cavaliers, where he turned that organization around. He was the coach that helped that organization go from out of the playoffs to in the playoffs really quick. And for those players to have that tough of a coach who's trying to help them become better, run him out of there while putting dirt on his name, that's crazy to me. And you think about just in a few short years what's happened. The Cavaliers, after that, number one team in the East, flame out again. Why? Because they're just not tough enough. And JB Bickerstaff tried to toughen them up. What he tried to do to Asar Thompson, what he did to Asar Thompson, he tried to do that to guys like Ty Jerome and Donovan Mitchell. But what they do? They leaked it to the media.
The media. Yep.
And now look at what's happening. That you see, so it's like JB Big talk about a chip on his shoulder. JB know he could coach. And one of the things that I asked him when he got here was, hey, you know, I heard your interview with Richard Jefferson, and you were talking about effectively what you can do with the double bigs of Stewart and Duren. And I asked him, like, what about this young squad that you got here overall? And you can see his face light up. I was like, there must have been things that you thought could have been better from across the pond. Like you weren't too far from here. He was like, we got some ideas. And you could tell in his face, he was just like, I got something here. I got some. It's almost like buying a pack of cards, or buying one of them gift boxes, some secret gift boxes. And it's going to be something good. You just don't know quite. And it's like he opened up the box, got in that practice, and realized, I got a squad. I got Cade Cunningham here, man. What? Jalen Duren? Who has been underutilizing these guys? Nobody can teach him how to use his athleticism in the post. Well, I can. And so when you talk about that chip on the shoulder, he's the one who came here and told all these players, you guys got to have a chip on your shoulder because you've been robbed. You've been robbed. You know what I mean? So it's just like he told them, look, there's things that you guys are going to do to be stars in your own lane, and we're going to win. It was JB Bickerstaff and the vets who walked in here saying, we're making the playoffs. F the play-in. Like, literally, Tim Hardaway and Malik Beasley, they were like, play-in? They're like, bro, what? Tim was like, I was just in the finals last year. So I absolutely love that when you said this team does have a chip on their shoulder, and JB Bickerstaff has been kind of, if the team is the missile, he's like the honing or the tracker. He's the thing that's effectively guiding them through this process. And they blowing up the league in the process, man. I love it. Let me get to these box scores because I know it's been a day, bro. But the Pistons, they got back to looking like normal.
They did. Everything's normal in the world.
Yeah, check this out. 54% from the floor, and they hold the Thunder to 41% from the floor. Now, behind the arc, it's a different thing. 37% from behind the arc for the Thunder. And they took 49 three-point attempts. But you know why? Because the Pistons were smacking everything that was coming into the paint. It seemed like the Pistons were just absolutely like, you know what? You guys are going to have to beat us from outside. And I get it. Chet Holmgren didn't play. J-Dub. Maybe those things changed something a little bit here. But overall, the Pistons, their game plan was, you're not beating us in the paint. Let me see here. Free throws. Pistons actually got 26 free throws. They missed 7 of them. To shoot 73%. That was a little concerning because you want to see this team get to the point where they're shooting at least, get up over that 78, 82% as a team if you can. OKC did shoot 95%. Rebounds, though. Like I said, the Pistons, they went back to dominating the paint. 52 rebounds to 37 rebounds for the Thunder. Assists, 29 to 28 for the Pistons. And this is what I like right here. Stocks, OKC had 10 of them things. 7 steals, 3 blocks. The Pistons, when I tell you they were locking down the middle, this is why they had to focus on the three-point shot tonight. 12 freaking blocks, bro. 12 blocks. Their stocks tonight, ignorant. Their stocks are ignorant.
I didn't even see that number yet. Holy shit.
21
It felt like a lot, but yeah. Oh, my God.
I'm looking at 9 steals, 12 blocks for the Detroit Pistons. That's insane, Platte. We got to pause.
That's insane.
Let me just fast rate points, 13 to 8. You ready for points in the paint?
Yeah, let's hear it.
70 to 32. They own the paint on both ends of the court. That's back to your identity, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, that's Piston basketball right there.
What you
I
got to
know
say
that
about it, man? Those stocks blew me away, actually.
those stocks blow me away, but look, this points to the paint. I don't want to hear shit about Chet and Hart not playing. I don't want to hear shit about it because the way
Talk
Duran
your
looked
talk.
tonight, Chet is getting pushed through the basket. He is getting pushed through the basket on Duran, no problem. Hart, you have my respect. But Chet was absolutely going to get bully balled. So I don't want to hear anything about, oh, this points in the paint is because we were missing our bigs. No, Duran was going to overpower whoever the fuck was in the way. So I thought that was great. The stocks is amazing.
Talk
Their,
your
their
talk,
hands
Platty.
their hands and activity was great all night. I mean, you're
Yep.
seeing a shot there, the court that the Pistons just absolutely just own the Thunder on. It was incredible, man. It was an incredible performance for me to watch this team do what they've been doing throughout the season, but do it against a number one seed. And again, I can't stress this enough. I don't care how many players are missing on that OKC team. There's a reason this team was talked about and hyped about by media to potentially break the all-time regular season record. There's a reason that this team is already anointed a dynasty after just one championship. But it's because of the talent, the coaching, everything that they have on this team, man, and the fact that the Pistons rose to that challenge and did what they did was just incredible. OKC is a team that punks teams, that gets you in stocks, that absolutely dominates you, breaks your will. It was the Pistons that did it tonight. It was unbelievable, and I don't care if who was there. The Pistons were the more physical team. They were what OKC is to everybody else, to OKC, and that was great to see.
I'm not frozen. You just cook. Sometimes you just let it simmer. You know, let the juices seal in after that. Like you're cooking on that. And the chat is agreeing with you as well on your Duran take as it relates to if Chet played. I don't think people understand the Pistons play a different brand of basketball. Like if your bigs aren't entering the chat the same way that like the San Antonio Spurs bigs did, then I don't care. Chet Holmgren is not playing like that. And you see it here. Xavier calls Chet toothpick boy. I don't know if I'll go that far, but you know what? It might be accurate. Who knows? Platte is not wrong. Duran is a man child. Yeah, you preaching, brother.
Shout out Big CP. That's not a burner of mine.
Sends in another one. 189 Pistons post game is elite, man, and that's why I can't wait till we can have some of these with you guys in the arena. Like I want to be able to interview you guys right here. I know Platte wants to be able to break down hoops with you guys right here. So, you know, and in the future, Platte, maybe we'll do something where a week in advance or the game in advance, we'll pick one or two people that we'll send the StreamYard link to from the chat.
I love that idea.
We'll definitely
I love that idea because the activity that we get from this chat is incredible. I mean, we see so many familiar faces each time for regular season games, Kool-Aid. Like, I mean, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. And listen, much like the Pistons, chat fans, buy your stock now. Get in now while you can. Get your face in now because I promise you what this is going to look like come playoff time is going to be a totally different animal.
Talk to him, boy.
Early. Get your stock early.
And you know what? Get your stocks early and buy your tickets early too. Bro, the tickets to that Spurs game, like even tonight, you could get into the building tonight for $25. And that went up a little bit higher as we got closer to the game because this arena was packed again. But that Spurs game, like right over here in the level 100 section, bro, right over there, about halfway up, maybe 14 to rows 14 to 21. You usually get in there for like $50 to $80. You know, decent games. Do you know how much it was against the Spurs, bro? 300. 300. I was like, yo, wait. Primetime Pistons is a real thing, huh? So look, it's not just get your stock in now in terms of your fandom, but you want to make sure that you can get your tickets in now too. So if there are games y'all want to go to, or as soon as you see that link, go live for the playoff tickets, get your tickets. After Platte, of course. After Platte, because you already know Platte be there. Like, as soon as it was there, Platte hit me up. He was like, "Cool, I'm in the arena, so we got the content right." I'm like, "Let's rock, man." So look, I'm telling you guys, be there, and it's not just for the Pistons. Like I told y'all earlier, we want to rock with you guys. Before we get to the box score, I'm gonna just zip through that, and then let you guys go a little bit early today. Mr. Nuga with another one, 499. He says it would be more elite if you had post game on the weekend. This is a magical season. Support your subscribers, and you know what? I got something coming. Coming for you guys. So just be patient. But soon we're gonna be able to have a little bit of fun on the weekends too. But as we get closer to the postseason and the end of season, we're gonna expand a little bit of this coverage too. So I appreciate you guys for being here and for watching. I'm telling you, man, like this stuff goes a long freaking way. Xavier D, my son and I are flying in for playoff games this year. Xavier,
that's hype.
You need to be somebody that we interview.
Yes,
straight
you
up.
Need to. We need to link Xavier for sure.
He says he got great seats when they were in Chicago for $50. Hey, that is fire, bro. And any content you guys get, man, definitely send it. And Aaron, before we get into this, says Pistons are fun to watch. They are good for the league. 150% agree with that. He says this should be a lesson for the league to encourage physicality and defense. It's what everyone loves seeing, and that's what Adam Silver talked about a week or two before All-Star break, maybe a month before All-Star break. And he says, you know what we're seeing right now? We're seeing that people are actually appreciating more the physical play. Maybe we need to get back to that. I didn't know that the memo was basically him saying that was effectively the memo, because you look at the league since then, and it seems that they're letting teams play a little bit, which is something the Pistons are going to have to get used to. When they play a team like OKC, Boston, the Spurs, there's an opportunity for you to get frustrated because you're playing a team who you actually not going to knock out a character. If you beat OKC, it's because you beat them. If you beat the Spurs, it's because you beat them. You were better than them that night. You know, you might be able to, on some one-offs, force them out of their character, but in a 7-game series, that type of stuff is not necessarily going to happen unless you are just that elite, man. So, you know, I like the fact that they're bringing it back. The league is accepting it, but that the Pistons right now are also feeling what it takes to play through that too.
Absolutely. And not to mention that the point of, look, Adam Silver saying that, you know, maybe these fans like defense and maybe we should allow more teams to be this way. Well, it takes a lot to be what the Detroit Pistons are. Let's not shortchange what the Detroit Pistons are. I know that's not what you're doing.
Not everybody is it.
Well, let's make it clear. There's a difference between the physicality that the Pistons play at and want to play at versus what these other teams would play at. How tough do you think Milwaukee really is? How tough do you think some of these other teams really are? How tough? I could ask this now that he's gone. How tough are the Rockets without Steven Adams? I want no smoke with Steven Adams. But
bro, I mean, Memphis Grizzlies lost all their aura when Dylan Brooks left.
Exactly, man. Like there are teams that play physical, and that is a identity of theirs. But not many teams can do that. Not many teams can get nasty like that. Minnesota ain't getting nasty like that. They got Ant, you got my respect. But them other dudes on there, they're not getting tough physical like that. We saw what happened when the Charlotte Hornets tried to get physical like that. We know New York can't. We know, look, New York can do whatever the fuck they want. It doesn't matter. We know the Cavs don't got the dog in them like that. So my point is that let's not act like what the Pistons are doing is as simple as just punching people and pushing around and just physically wearing them down. No, this physicality that they play at takes determination, takes want to, and that is something that almost no other team in the league has right now. So, let these teams try to be physical. Swallow the whistle a little bit more. Detroit will love that. Detroit will be better with that. That means less threes. That means more battles in the paint, and that means that they can do what they want to do. So I'm all for it, Adam Silver.
Let Platte cook. Let that man cook. And you know what? Jonathan Peters put Milwaukee as Bobby Portis. And
that's true. Thing. That's true. You got my respect.
But he does, and he gets my respect. But the reason why the Pistons are passing teams up is because they've finally done what Terry Foster said. He said, yeah, you know, every team out there needs an a-hole. They need some a-holes out there. And, that's the component of it. It's like, he was like, yeah, we got beef stew, but you need more than that. Well, then they went and they added a Danish Jenkins. They went and they added a Paul Reed. They went and they added a Javante Green. They went and they added a Ron Holland, and they got a Asar Thompson. And even our point guard, Cade Cunningham. He ain't no pretty boy. He's out there pushing people over, and he's out there getting physical, and he's out there getting technicals, and he's out there barking, and he's out there pointing in people's faces and getting tossed out the game too. It's this whole entire team. That's what makes this Pistons team go. Yeah, Milwaukee has a guy. There's teams out there who has like a guy, and that's the thing. A lot of these teams used to hide behind that because of the way that the rules changed in the NBA. That's why it was important for Adam Silver to go out there and speak from the front like that, because it helps the entire Pistons team. Think about it. Last year, the Pistons are in worse foul trouble than they were this year, and they weren't getting as many foul calls as they're getting this year. So on both ends of the floor, the Pistons have benefited greatly from whatever changes the league has made for this season.
Absolutely.
So that's what I like about this Pistons team. I think they're so good defensively, because when you look at them, you could say, okay, they got a Bobby Portis, but we literally got Paul Reed, who's about that action, Ron Holland, who's about that action, Beef Stew, about that action. Like, how many players? Like
Javante Green, you can keep going. Dennis Jenkins,
and that's why I say you can take it into the starting lineup. Jalen Duren, you see what I'm saying? Like, how many guys? How many teams have players on it that you would say he would throw a punch in a fight?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like, that's something a little bit different. The Pistons got like 7 of them dudes.
At least. Thank God for the depth. Thank God for the depth. That worries me.
Look, I see you, Randall. He said they got a guy. They got one. And that's why Chris said we respect Bobby Portis. He's one of the ones like, yo, bring him over here to Detroit. I would absolutely love him here in Detroit. And the Pistons, when I say like it's across the whole team, Platte, we've seen games where Tolu Smith had to step in and what? He's going out there leading the team and rebounding. And getting scrappy in the paint. They just got a whole team full of guys who are just like, yo, what up? It's like, where do they have the factory where they're making these people? But you know what? This is the importance of making sure that you match your squad to the philosophy and identity that you say you want to play with, especially if you're going to invoke the city. It's like we're not sitting around waiting for y'all to say, we want to play like the city. We want to play gritty because the city's gritty. We're not waiting for you to say that. We're really waiting for people to show us. If that's who you are, that's who you are. If this team came out here and was a pretty boy three-point shooting team and they were winning, we would cheer for that, even if it didn't necessarily match. But when you're saying you want to be this, like the first iteration of this, the restore era, we want to be like this and like that. I get that, but have you built like that? Have you put the players out there that have that? And I think a large part of what we're seeing right now, too, is the players that made it through that era and are still here today. They got cut from those experiences. And I think much, much, much better for those early experiences. But now you look at the squad, and I can definitely say this is a squad that's built in the vein of and playing in the vein of your 04 Pistons, man. Straight up.
100%,
but
man.
The box score, let's get to it, man. It wasn't a lot. You look at the you look at the Thunder, and they get 30 points, right, from Jay Williams on their squad, man. 30 points, 9 of 14 from the floor, 5 of 10 from behind the arc, 11 rebounds, 4 assists. So he basically gave you your he basically went there and gave you your Shai Gilgeous stat line. Because I just want people to understand, it's not like OKC was just out there and didn't have people hooping. This is who they are. Right. They had 3 people in their starting lineup score at least 20 points or more, with Williams getting 30. And listen to the efficiency. You got Wiggins 6 of 16, but he had 20 points, 4 rebounds, 6 assists. Wallace out there had 23 points tonight for them and 5 assists, 9 of 17 from the floor. And then, off the bench, they had Jared McCain, who got 20 points off the bench, and Williams, who got 13 points off the bench as well. So they got some guys out there that can ball. But the Pistons, they're a two-headed monster in terms of Jalen Duren and Cade Cunningham, which is way too much. And then Duncan Robinson, good to see him knock down a couple threes, 3 of 9 tonight for 33% from the floor. 16 points for him, 4 of 11 overall. Jalen Duren shot 12 of 17, Cade 11 of 16. So bounces back from that, off night, 6 of, I think, 26 for Cade against the Spurs. Well, he fixes that really quickly. 10 less shots, makes a lot more points, gets that field goal percentage up. And again, just to recite their stats, 29 and 15, and 1 block for Duran. That's 15 rebounds. And for Cade, 29 points for him, 13 assists. And we got to talk about them stocks for Cade, 2 steals, 3 blocks, man. He just continues to do it on both ends of the court. Get that man on on an all defensive team. And you know what? Who cares? Who cares? Y'all found a way to get Rudy Gobert 4 Defensive Player of the Year awards. You can find a way to get 3 Detroit Pistons on all defensive teams this year. Let's make it happen. I know the possibilities is not the best, just like Platte pointed out, but we got some deserving dogs over here, man. Asar Thompson, who I thought had a nice bounce back game tonight, 28 minutes for him, 11 points, 5 of 7 from the floor, which I like. He just continues to be efficient. Again, Asar is averaging a career high in some of these areas, points as well as field goal percentage. And so I like what I'm seeing from Asar Thompson tonight. 4 rebounds, 7 assists for Asar Thompson. And when you get into the stocks of it all, guess what? 3 steals and 2 blocks. Mr. Do Everything, man. That was Asar Thompson tonight. And it's glad to see. You don't want to see if there's a little tizzy or a little spat between Asar and JB and he only plays 4 minutes in the second half against the Spurs. You don't want to see that carry over. Just like we don't want to see this team lose or get uncharacteristic as it relates to stringing losses together on the court. You also want to make sure that off the court, that harmony and the togetherness that they are branding, this Pistons basketball together all the time, that's their brand. You want to make sure that that's on full display. There's going to be times when things get a little out of character, but to be able to see them kind of get back on the right way, that was comforting for me, brother.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Anything on those starters before I zip through the bench?
They got Duncan's all right? Like that's what I said. Like
he went down and everybody was a little like, whoa.
Everybody's like, ooh, yeah. But yeah, no, I thought you nailed it on the head, man. I thought, again, this Piston team they understand their roles and they play to their roles and they do their job, but they also do such a good job of picking up that slack if needed, or just picking up in those areas that are needed when it's called for. So yeah, I love what this Pistons starting unit did, man. I really do.
Yep, and you know what? To put the bow on things here tonight, we talk about this bench, who I just thought they just got a bunch of guys that just kind of do their work, and all of them carry like the same amount of weight. I love it. Paul Reed, 8 points, 5 rebounds tonight, and 4 blocks.
What a beast, dude!
Boy, that boy was getting busy. And guess what? He only played 17 minutes tonight, bro.
Telling you, bro, those per 36s are just absolutely insane. You're telling me he got 8 blocks in per 36 tonight? That's what you're telling me.
That's what I'm telling you.
Tell me he almost had a triple double. 30s.
It's B-ball Paul. He literally has saved lives.
Yeah, shout out to him.
I've heard that. Ron Holland, 8 points, 4 of 9 from the floor, 0-3 from behind the arc. And I hope he doesn't start pressing. If they're giving him the ability to shoot that, and they like what they see in practice, continue to shoot them, but make sure if you have a lane or you have the ability to get downhill, you do it. And if you're going to shoot them and you're not all on, I think by like 0-3, 0-4, hey, we're not trying to get to 1-6, man. But I'm not going to discourage a young fella from shooting them because there's nights where we've seen him go out there and hit a couple, and it's been big shots for the Pistons. And you need him to have that confidence. So I like what I saw from Ron Holland tonight. Got a steal as well. Javonte Green, 6 points, 2 of 4 from the floor, 2 of 3 from behind the arc, 4 rebounds. When he's making threes, it just feels like the world is right. So to see him and Duncan get back, that was cool. And then Karis LeVert, your favorite player, 17 minutes, 9 points, 3 of 6 from the floor, 1 of 2 from behind the arc. He did get an assist tonight. And then let me see, Kevin Huerter, 8 minutes. And all I'm seeing is zeros across the board there. We won't spend too much time on Kevin Huerter. And Danish Jenkins, 13 minutes, 4 points, 2 of 6 from the floor, 3 rebounds, no assists tonight. But again, just overall solid play from the bench. You know, they didn't lose their minutes. They weren't getting blown out during their minutes. They were going out there, even though they don't have Stu coming off the bench with them, and they have Paul Reed not off the bench with them right now. You know, they were still able to go out there leaning on a little bit more depth from their bench and still handle this game, man, the right way. Brought energy, brought hustle, brought blocks, you know, and brought their own brand, their own day, because obviously they operate a little differently on offense than when it's Cade running it. So they bring their own kind of brand of offense to it. It's like when I see that those couple players step into the game off the bench, I know it's about to be high octane.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, this team just knows its identity so well. These players know their roles so well. They know exactly what you're saying, right? Like Javonte Green knows if I hit two threes, it is an absolute backbreaker to the defense. If I hit two threes, this game is basically good night. In fact, I will take time to do the research and look at the games he's hit two threes and see what our record is. I guarantee you that record is even better than our win percentage we have now.
Hey,
Shout
man,
out the court.
giving the people one more look at the court, and we got the people here working hard to get it clean for the next game as well. It's amazing to come in here and just see the people working, and over there too, I got some other media buddies that stuck around with me tonight. You'll see Cody is up there walking around in the rafters, and over there in the other media, you see, and Cody's from the Detroit News. You might have seen him in some of the previous Woodward Pistons segments that I've done on Woodward Sports.
Yep.
And we got Hunter Patterson up there too of The Athletic. He came in after and had to fill some big shoes of James Edwards. And what I love the most, is that they're good people too. Like that's what you want to see. Good at their jobs and good people, man. So I couldn't be happier to have these people a part of that Pistons media room for real. So it's dope. But any last words before we wrap up here, man? And chat family, go ahead and smash that like button. I appreciate you guys for the super chats, for supporting us, man. It means a lot, man. It means a lot. And so shout out to the Pistons. What about you, Platte?
Man, on to Cleveland. I know that, Harden may end up being questionable, we'll see what he's going to do with that hand injury. But look, again, this is just game after game of being in the eye of the storm. And this is Cade Cunningham's moment. Like, this is absolutely his moment. This is a team's moment to show that they belong. And so far, you dropped one to the Spurs. And I don't think many people came away that negative on that game. I think if anything, they just kind of overgassed the Spurs. But you had to win this game, and like you talked about last stream, go 2-1 in this homestand. Go get that game against Cleveland. Go get that game against the odds.
Don't want the smoke.
He don't. That's why he broke his hand just to get out of it.
just to get out of this. He's like, man,
just to get out of it
over there. I would rather break my hand than play those guys.
Yeah, we got to go against who?
Absolutely not. Hey, you know what? Shout out Randall Smalls, man.
Shout out.
This is great show, guys. Now, thank you guys, man. This has been awesome. And honestly, you guys being active in this chat, it goes a long way too. It helps us be able to, make sure that we are talking about some of the things you guys want to talk about too, not just what's in our mind and our opinions as well. But let me see here. Basketball used to be a contact sport. Mr. Nuga, trust me, I know. You can still go down to the rec league, church leagues, Pee-wee leagues, and you will find it. Make the NBA physical again. How about that? And I like it, man. They're getting back to it. Jan, shout out to Jan. She says, thank you, Kool-Aid and Chris. Again, thank you guys for being here. And you know what? We'll put this one up too. Great job, boys. Really appreciate it. Now, you know what? Look.
Shout out.
These always go a lot better as well when the Pistons win games. And they've been winning a whole lot of these games this year. So Pistons, keep doing your thing this year. I agree with Chris. Go out there because the Cavaliers don't want that smoke.
They don't.
They don't want that smoke at all, man.
And they're about to find out. They're about to find out, man. I can't get overly hyperbolic with it because I do have my respect for Donovan Mitchell, but yeah. I mean, look, it is regular season, so I guess there's a possibility that James Harden will play good. I'll give them that olive branch. But that's all you're getting out of me.
That's right, man. Hey, but look, appreciate you guys for being here. This has been fun. Dang, boy, look at that. They snuck in one. Keith, 499 says, if the Pistons are sporting the red, white, and blue, they destroy the Spurs. You know what? They're going to be back, bro. Man. Thank you, Keith, man. Thank you, Keith, for getting that in there, too, lads. Like, I don't think y'all understand the support is awesome, bro. It's awesome. Absolutely. Like, we live off of this. We ride for this. We rush for this. You know, it's late. I'm about to be home at probably like 12:30. And we're going to be back up in the morning and doing this all over again, bro.
It's a grind, but I mean,
It's a
you
grind for
guys
them.
make it worth
The
it.
people
10
are
out
up
of
right
10.
now. Y'all
Yeah,
up right now.
I know. Shout out to that's what it is, man. This is a community that this is everything you want. Detroit sports and community doesn't get better than that.
Oh, wow. Mr. Nuga 199 Super Chat says, thank you from Chattanooga, boys. Hey, shout out, man.
Shout out.
And Randall says, be safe. Be safe.
Be safe, Rando.
Appreciate you,
Appreciate
Baltimore
you.
Platte.
Of course.
One of the best to talk hoops with. You know your stuff. And it's been awesome this year, bro. It's been awesome.
It has. And Kool-Aid, we're only going further.
That's right.
We're only going further, man. I can't wait. Cavs up next, baby.
Hey, Harden ducking the smoke. We don't.
Yeah.
Smash that like button on the way out. Let's rock.